In modern linguistics, there is a considerable confusion about the terminology associated with phraseological units, because there are some other terms denoting more or less the same linguistic phenomena. Set expressions, set phrases, phrases, fixed word groups, collocations. The confusion in the terminology reflects insufficiency of positive or wholly reliable criteria by which phraseological units can be distinguished from free word groups. And it should be pointed out at once that the freedom of free word groups is relative and arbitrary, because nothing is entirely free in speech, and its linear relationships are governed, restricted, and regulated on the one hand by requirements of logic and common sense, and on the other by the rules of grammar and combinability. So one can speak of the black-eyed girl or the black-eyed boy, but not of a black-eyed table or black-eyed chair. Of course, unless a piece of modernist poetry where everything is possible. Also, to say that a child was glad is quite correct, but a glad child is wrong, because in modern English, glad is attributively used only with a very limited number of nouns. For example, glad news, and names of persons are not among them. Free word groups are so called not because of any absolute freedom in using them, but simply because they are each time built up anew in the special process, whereas idioms are used as ready-made units with fixed and constant structures. And now we must deal with the question how to distinguish phraseological units from free word groups. This is probably the most discussed and the most controversial problem in the field of phraseology. The task of distinguishing between free word groups and phraseological units is further complicated by the existence of a great number of marginal cases, the so-called semi-fixed and semi-free word groups, also called for non-phraseological word groups, which share with phraseological units their structural stability, but lack their semantic unity and figurativeness. For example, to go to school, to go by bus, to commit suicide. Well, there are two major criteria for distinguishing between phraseological units and free word groups, semantic and structural. Now, let us compare the following examples presented here. Cambridge Dawn says, "I'm told they are inviting more American professors to this university. Isn't it rather carrying coals to Newcastle?" So, to carry coals to Newcastle means to take something to a place where it is already plentiful and not needed. And the second example, this cargo ship is carrying coal to Liverpool. The first thing that captures the eye is a semantic difference of the two word groups consisting of the same essential constituents. In the second sentence, the free word group is carrying coals is used in the direct sense, and the word coal standing for hard, black coal, and carry for the plain process of taking something from one place to another. The first context quite obviously has nothing to do with either with coal or transporting it, and the meaning of the whole word is something entirely new and far removed from the current meanings of the constituents. The semantic shift affecting phraseological units does not consist in a mere change of meanings of each separate constituent part of the unit. The meanings of the constituents merge to produce an entirely new meaning. For example, to have a bee in one's bonnet means to have an obsession about something, to be eccentric or a bit mad. The humorous metaphoric comparison with a person who is distracted by a bee continually buzzing under his cap has become erased and half forgotten, and the speakers using the expression hardly think of bees or bonnets, but accept it in its transferred sense: obsessed, eccentric. So that is what is meant when phraseological units are said to be characterized by semantic unity. In the traditional approach, phraseological units have been defined as word groups conveying a single concept, whereas in free word groups, each meaningful component stands for a separate concept. It is this feature that makes phraseological units similar to words. Now, trying to remember word combination a black bird and the word blackbird. So the word blackbird, which was characterized by unity, so this word stands only for one concept. It has only one concept. So both words and phraseological units possess semantic unity. Yet words are also characterized by structural unity, which phraseological units lack, being combinations of words. That is why we can conclude that we must accept the semantic criteria of distinguishing units from free word groups as the major one.